Hello everyone and welcome back to Miss Goodwood's video online tutorials. All right, lucky you. So we've gotten a request from students for the homework and remembering pages for 5-5 for 6th grade. Specifically number 7 is giving kids a lot of trouble. How much paper would it take to cover a cube with inches that are 25 centimeters long? So the thing that we already know about a cube is that it's all the same on every side. So we know every single side is the same. So if it says there's a side that's 25 centimeters long, we know that means that's 25 centimeters, that's 25 centimeters, and when we turn it, that's 25 centimeters. So length, width, and height, they're all the same. They're all 25 centimeters. Now, this cube, unfortunately, is quite a lot smaller than 25 centimeters because 25 centimeters, if you remember, my body measurement for a decimeter, which is 10 centimeters, is the width across my fingers. Now, that might be a little different for you because everyone's hands are a little different, but if you put your two hands together, that's roughly 25 centimeters. So the cube is going to be quite a lot bigger than my little demonstration cube here, but we're still going to figure it out the same way. It's just really helpful, I think, to have a picture in your mind. So when you're working on a problem like this, if you come to something tricky, like you always hear me say, go find something, actually something to hold on to look at, to think about. In this case, I just have a really giant die. I don't know why we have this necessarily. I think we got it out of one of those claw machines, but it's kind of cool and it's fun to play with. So I'm going to use this as my cube. So this question is essentially a gift wrap question. So again, before I got got started with this tutorial, I went and grabbed like some extra gift wrap that I have. Again, here it is again. Please, 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 when you're stuck on a question, go find materials that will help you understand and think about it, because you'll be able to get it. And you probably won't even need to watch the tutorial. If you get something that's a square, you get some paper and you start thinking like, oh, wait a minute, I know how to do this. This is a gift wrapping question. It wants to know if we're going to wrap paper around a cube that has 25 centimeter sides, how much paper do we need? So hold on a second, because need to pause for a second. Okay, so as you can see, we're back, and I paused to take my cube. Well, actually, you can see how I was doing it because now there's marker on the cube. So you can see that I used my cube and I just traced around it to make the net. Remember, we've been talking about, this is about a month ago or so, we were talking about taking a three-dimensional shape and just opening it up and laying it flat and making it into a net. So here's the net of my cube. So that's what I did. So if I was going to gift wrap my cube, I could do that exact thing on paper. Again, I'm going to actually cross-post this video because I do want you to try it at home. Truly, find a box. Now, if you can find a cube, great. If you can't find a cube, no big deal. Do what you could in, hold on. You can, I'm sure, find something. Whoops, that's me dropping things in my pantry here. Find something. Find a box of unmade blueberry muffins or something else. Find some kind of a box and actually practice doing this. Practice drawing, opening it up and drawing. Actually, if you want to trace around it, do it. Drawing around it and trace your three-dimensional shape and open it up like a net. So there's my cube. There's my net. I'm going to cut it in paper. Hopefully you also have some gift wrap. You can do this too right along with me. Pause the video and do it. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I'm back. Here's my, oh yeah, you know I'm crazy about superheroes. Here's my superhero paper. And you can see I took my cube and I traced it along the back. And remember, nets can be different. This isn't the only net that could be made from a cube, but so I made my net from my cube. And now I'm going to cut it out and we'll show what it's going to look like when we wrap it around the cube. Okay, so here it is. I've got it. I'm going to wrap it around. Now, we know that if we were actually gift wrapping, we wouldn't really cut a net because, first of all, it's weird. Like, you put it down, it covers that one, covers this one, but you'd actually have to do so much taping. You'd have to tape every single corner. Tape, 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 and then tape, because there's so many loose ends here. But you can see that I've covered my cube with my paper. Okay, so there it is. So now if you've done that, you probably know how to solve this already. You probably don't even need to watch the rest of the video because you're like, oh, I see it, I got it. The reason you might be thinking, oh, I see it, I got it, is because you went and used the hands-on materials. Please, 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 just like you hear me in class say all the time, the hands-on station really is helpful. So if you haven't done this yet, find a cube. It can even be like a tiny little dice. It can be, I don't know, uh, not quite a cube, but you could use something bizarre that you have lying around, like a container for kiwis, not quite a cube, but you could still get the idea about it. So use something that you have around your house. If you have gift wrap left over from, some Christmas or birthday or whatever, go and get it, actually do it, and you'll know just what to do. So, okay, so I've made this, I've wrapped it up, I see how it works, I'm ready to try to calculate. Okay, so we're coming back to the picture now that we drew here, the net. And remember, my cube is a lot smaller, but we're thinking this one is, the cube in the question is 25 centimeters across one side. And then we know, of course, since it's a cube, it's 25 centimeters along the other side. So what that actually means is we could draw 25 lines going one way, which not going to actually count those 25, but we could. And then 25 going the other way. So we divide that up into 25 going left and right, 25 going up and down. So length times width, or base times height, we've also used in class, in order to figure out the square area that's in here. So we want to figure out how many tiny little cubes there are. If we would go along and count them, how many tiny little cubes are on that surface. So now I don't really actually want to count that, because I know that if it's 25 this way and 25 this way, I know that base times height, or length times width, will give me the area. So I know that 25 times 25 will give me the area of one of these squares. Okay, so 25 times 25 is 625 square centimeters. I'm going to write that right in that square to remind myself that I've calculated. 625 is in that. Are we done? Is the area how much paper it would take to cover this cube? We found out it's 625 square centimeters, right? No, I hope you're saying no, that's not right. That's only one part. We've only calculated that part right there, just that part. All the rest we haven't calculated yet, just that one little part. So we know those are all the same. So I hope that we don't have to do 25 times 25, 25 times 25, 25 times 25, 25. Instead, we know they're all the same because they're a cube, and that's the definition of a cube. All sides are the same. So if this is 625, that one's also 625, and another 625, and another 625, and ongoing. How are we going to figure out then what the total is? We're putting them all together. All together, we think of adding, or if it's adding the same thing over and over, multiplying, either one. So we could either add 625 plus, 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 plus. We could add all of those. Or we can multiply. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have 6 groups of 625. Remember, times means groups of. So we've got 6 groups of 625. Okay, 6 groups of 625. Whoops, that's the beeper for my lunch. I'm making lunch at the same time. 6 groups of 625 is 3,750. Now remember, we can't just leave that sitting there. We have to tell 3,750 what? Something, and it's square centimeters. Remember, because we're actually asking ourselves, how many tiny little squares are covered by this paper? So we're actually dividing it into tiny little squares. How many squares are there? And the answer is 3,750. 50. I hope this was really helpful for you, and I hope that you, I lost my little, oh, here it is. I hope that you actually do try this at home with something that's not 25 by 25. Try something else. Try actually opening it up, laying it flat, tracing around it, cutting it out of paper, and then calculating what is the area, the surface area, in this case, the colored part, the part with the marble designs on it. What is the surface area of your wrapping paper? So enjoy. I hope you do that either now or sometime over your spring break. We'll see you next time. Bye.